For those of you who love a loud exhaust but don't want to deal with the hassle or the headache they can bring, the Flowmaster Signature Series exhaust is for you and your 2014 to 2018 5.3 liter powered Silverado or Sierra 1500. This system gives you a great sound at a tolerable volume combined with a clean look and excellent build quality. On our loudness meter, we're going to give this a solid 3 out of 5. This is a system that does not go overboard on volume and instead accentuates the good sounds that these trucks already produce. So that means you'll be able to enjoy this system every day without getting your neighbors all worked up or giving yourself a headache. A Flowmaster exhaust and a Chevy small block is as classic a match as peanut butter and jelly. And without any fluff or exaggeration, the Signature Series that we have here is a perfect complement to the 5.3 liter Vortec. It's just the right amount of volume in my opinion, and it sounds great. As you heard from the clips at the start of the video, it's got a nice rumble to it at idle, and it accentuates that lumpy V8 goodness. And when you start driving, it's mild under most circumstances, but you can really open its lungs when you bury your foot. The Signature Series is the rare exhaust that can kinda do it all. At cruising speeds, it's subtle, giving you just the right amount of bassy hum as you tick off the highway miles. But put the pedal down and it opens up the taps. You get that big V8 rumble without any of the raspiness or drone that you may find in other systems. Now, since this is a full catback, it's going to replace your factory muffler and resonator, leaving you with just this suitcase-style Signature Series muffler. This is described as straight through, and you can see that it absolutely is. So this is going to flow way better than your factory muffler, giving you some more power and better response. The key here though is that there's plenty of packing inside to help keep the volume under control. So inside of the cabin, you just get that nice hum and you won't have to blast the stereo to hear your favorite song or yell to your passengers to have a conversation. It's just enough to remind you what's under the hood, but not enough to make it unpleasant to drive your truck. Now, as far as aesthetics go, this one errs more on the side of subtlety. It exits in the same location as your stock exhaust, just behind the passenger side rear wheel. But you do get this angle cut black chrome 4.5-inch diameter tip. It's a nice addition and certainly a subtle one in keeping with the theme of this system. It's a little nod to what you've got going on underneath the truck, but the real cue will be when you start it up and get to hear that excellent sound. Construction is the other big highlight of the Signature Series. This entire system is made from 304 grade mandrel bent stainless steel, so it's very resistant to rust and corrosion, and about the best you can get material-wise. The tip is also 304 stainless, only of course that is finished in that black chrome for a little extra pop. The piping is 3 inches in diameter all the way back as well, so again, this is going to flow a lot better than your restrictive factory system. Flowmaster makes all of the Signature Series systems right here in the USA, and they're all TIG welded, and you can tell just at a glance. All the welds look great, especially these ones around the muffler casing. The material is also fully brushed to remove any imperfections caused by the manufacturing process, leaving you with an exhaust that looks just as good as it sounds. Pricing comes in at about $1,100, and that puts it right in the middle of the pack price-wise. It's not the most affordable option nor the most expensive, and for what you're getting, it is genuinely a great price. The material and build quality you're getting here is top-notch, and that doesn't even take into account the excellent sound. So if you want a high-quality exhaust that sounds great and won't leave you with a headache, save a few extra pennies and grab the Signature Series. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 2 hours to complete. Now, this is a bolt-on setup that's going to utilize all your factory exhaust hanger locations, so you don't need to make any permanent modifications to your truck. That makes this a pretty straightforward job that is definitely one you can tackle at home. And we're going to walk you through the installation process step by step right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, 15, 14, and 13 millimeter socket, 14 millimeter wrench, an exhaust hanger tool, and also not shown be a lift and pull jacks. All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our Silverado. First, we're gonna watch a quick video on uninstall a stock system. Then we'll come back here to install the new one.
All right, first step here, you wanna grab a 13 millimeter socket. We're gonna loosen up the clamp right in front of, or behind rather, the catalytic converter. So that'll loosen this up, and then the rest of them are just hangers holding onto the exhaust. Moving about a foot toward the rear, you'll find another hanger here. This is holding it onto the frame. I'm going to use my hanger removal tool, which I highly recommend using. A pry bar could work as well. All right, for the next step, we have 2 hangers right behind our factory muffler, right over our rear diff. Now, I have a pole jack supporting the exhaust system at this point because once we pop these off, it gets pretty loose because we're up here on the lift. Grab a hanger removal tool and pop these 2 off. All right, there's one last hanger here. It's up by the exhaust tip right next to the spare tire carrier. Now, once this guy is loose or disconnected, the entire exhaust is disconnected. So you wanna make sure you have something like a pull jack supporting it or a helping hand to give you a hand here. All right, at this point, remove your exhaust and set it aside all in one piece.
So we're gonna start off by installing our front section with our flared part for our front clamp. So we have our front clamp just resting over our cat. I have a pull jack here just to help hold everything up. Get this over our crossbar and then into our first isolator. Just let that rest in there. We just get our clamp over. We're not gonna tighten that yet, just gonna let it rest and we can go ahead and get our muffler on now. So next we have our muffler. As you see, I have one of our clamps already resting over there. Now since this is a crew cab short bed, we don't need our extension pipe. We're gonna slide this on, slide our clamp over, and we can put our other clamp on the rear of our muffler to get our tailpipe on. Now we have our tailpipe. We're gonna get this up over our axle. Now this is gonna go into our muffler and into our remaining 3 hangers. So we'll get this up in place. We can start with our 2 hangers right at the back of our muffler. And then our one back here. Go ahead and make sure our muffler stays level. Now we can go ahead and start tightening down our clamps, starting from the front, working our way backwards. So we have our impact and 13mm socket. We'll tighten down our front factory clamp here. All right, so we'll grab our impact, switch to our 15mm socket. We just have our 2 clamps at the front and rear of our muffler. Go ahead and tighten those 2 down. All right, lastly, we just have our tip. Slide that on, just personal preference of how far you want that in or out. Put it right there. Grab our impact, 14mm socket, and a 14mm wrench. Go ahead and tighten this down. And that wraps up our install of our Flowmaster Signature Series single exhaust system with a black chrome tip for a side exit or a 2014-18 5.3 liter Silverado 1500. And remember, for everything Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.